And what is up, everyone? I am Joe DeHoyos. I'm host of Beyond the Woodline. Before we get started, just want to remind some of you guys that may be interested in the Bigfoot uh, genre. I am the executive director of the JRG, which is a Jevning research group that's headed by William Jevning. He's got close to 50 years experience in the Bigfoot world. We've got teams in Ohio, Michigan, California, Maryland, uh, and there's a couple other places I can't remember. I think Florida's another one. And of course, here in Texas, we have some guys here, including myself. So if you guys have any encounters with that particular cryptid or any cryptid really, man, give me a shout. I'd love to hear it. Uh, my email is beyond.woodline@gmail.com. We also have for encounters and experiences, we have it's a form we can send out to witnesses who can fill out the forms. We also have uh, forms for our members that can fill out, with basic contact information. If someone in your area has an encounter with a Bigfoot, they can contact you guys, or we can give them the contact information, and we'll go from there, and hopefully, you know, help them out if they need help, or just if they just want to get something off their chest, because that happens quite a bit too. People keep this stuff in for like 20 years, man, and they're like, I finally get to tell somebody, or they finally get the courage to tell somebody. So that's part of like what we like to do too, is just help people out, man. And it's just, I guess it's just an outlet for these people sometimes too, just get it off their chest, like I said. And if you have any strange experiences, whether it be paranormal, UFO, aliens, or even cryptids, you can contact me directly, here at beyond.woodline@gmail.com. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to hear your story. And part of the reason why I do this podcast is to get good information out there and good data for people, and give them a format to to talk about their experiences. And excuse me, man, I was choking on my own spit. But speaking of getting good information out there, man, I got a great team here tonight. First Line Paranormal. It's Katie, Cody, Morgan, and Kim. How you guys doing?
Great.
We're doing
Doing
good.
great.
Good, man. You know, I guess I've been talking mainly with Cody. So it was real good. Exchanging information with you guys. And Robert Humphreys, First Line Paranormal. What's up, fam? Thanks for joining, Robert. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. Just to kind of give you guys a little bit of background about me. Of course, I'm a Bigfoot researcher first and foremost, but I also, deal with paranormal and UFOs and aliens. I've had experiences, a lot of experiences actually with the paranormal stuff. I've seen a UFO twice. I lived in a house that had a lot of paranormal activity. It was pretty crazy. Nothing scary, but man, it was tons of it. And me and my family, uh, we all were like touched or poked at one time or another. You know, I had a cousin who got grabbed on the arm. He was doing some remodeling on the house, and he had fingerprint bruises on his arm. Uh, we saw shadow figures and smoky looking figures before. We had faucets that would come on and turn off. So, uh, and I was maybe about close to 40 years old when I started to like really experience that, even though I believed in it my whole life. But yeah, just a little bit of background about me. So just real quick, let's go around the table. We'll go with Cody first. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into the paranormal.
I'm gonna hopefully have my other members talk more tonight because usually I feel like I'm the one talking the most. But
What you're good at.
yeah, so it was odd how we started because I think we've all been interested in it or have at least known about it. Everyone has different experiences on our team. So for me, I never really had any experiences. I just was really interested in the paranormal field. And when I was working on the road for the for a sheriff's office, I just had this wild idea. I was like, what if we like started a paranormal team, started going around and actually investigating places? So um, that came up. We kind of left it at that, and then the next 2 or 3 months, I brought it up again. I was like, no, really, what if we actually did this? Let's actually get a game plan together, and it was more of just like a hobby at that point. And so then we just started getting people on, like me, Morgan, Kim. We all started it up and just started into an investigation local to us, and then I don't know. We started branching out, getting more people. We went to a church, local church, did that first, and then I pretty much just said, "All right, so the next investigation, we're going to Trans-Allegheny, West Virginia." So we kind of just jumped in, with a little bit of a brief warm up. So, but it's been good. It's been good since then.
What about you, Katie? What got you started into the paranormal?
Um, well, with this group particularly, it was Miss Kim here. I've known her for about 10 years or so. She told me that she had started this, and I was watching them go to Trans Allegheny, and I was hooked on it. I had it cast over to this TV right here. I was sitting on my bed all night just watching them stream to, Facebook Live. I was mesmerized. I was like, I would love to do this. And then the team became open to an extra person. So I was like, all right, you know what? This sounds like something I want to do because I've always been interested in the things that most people tend to not talk about or stray away from. I had a very limited experiences with any kind of paranormal in my life. My father loves Bigfoot. We've got a little Bigfoot cutout in the backyard, but that was about the extent of it until 5, 6 years old. I started to see something called the Dark Man um, in my room, and it was just a constant presence in my life. I was scared of it, but not really scared of it. I mean, it was so constant that my father ended up writing a song about it for me, and I adore that song to this day. I made him record it for me just so that I always have it. But yeah, ever since then, anything that's dark and spooky or goes bump in the night, I want to know what it is. I don't run away from it. I'm like, ooh, what's that? 10 out of 10 would be the first one to get killed in a horror movie.
Yeah. Well, your dad sounds like a cool guy.
Yeah, he is.
What about you, Kim? What got you started?
I think mostly as far as like the team goes, it was talking to Cody, of course, at work. We worked together and just kind of bouncing that idea around and being like, hey, I'm kind of interested in that too. And I had some experiences when I was probably in like middle school and kind of like Katie, didn't really think much about it, wasn't like afraid of it, just was kind of like, that's weird, can't explain it, I don't know. And now looking back on it, I have a little more perspective on it because I was young then, and now I'm like, what actually was that? So it has sparked an interest on things. I'm pretty scientific on stuff, but I'm on all sides of things. I'm very logical.
Yeah, I think that's important, right? To kind of be logical about everything and
Hmm.
to really think about what you're doing and what you're capturing, or you know, along those lines. And yeah, I think it's good to keep that mindset when you're on an investigation or even looking at evidence, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. Very
yeah.
much so. A team, and Cody probably will talk about it more, or anybody really, but
Mm-hmm.
we try to really debunk things all the time, and we're definitely the people that are like, nah, it was this. And then we're
You
Right.
like,
won't see
oh
us get overly excited over
yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
It's like, are you sure that's what you thought it was? Let's
Yeah.
go try to
If we
debunk
do,
it.
it has to be something serious because I don't think
Yeah.
we've had
Mhm.
that moment yet.
Right. Yeah. And what about you, Morgan? What got your foot in the door?
Cody. um, if you don't know, I'm his girlfriend. He brought up the idea, and I mean, I support him with anything that he does. So I've kind of been by his side. Um, not had any like past experiences, maybe one, but I'm not even sure. Um, I'm just very skeptical still, even doing since we've been doing this. I'm still very skeptical. I don't 100% believe. Not saying I'm very open minded, but um, yeah, I'm still open to things.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Kind of like not believing but being open minded, because I think it kind of keeps everyone honest. I think when you have a skeptic, um, it keeps everybody honest. Like I said, I do the same thing when I'm out doing the Bigfoot thing. I've been doing it for 10 years, And when I capture something, I make sure I send it to different people and different friends, and particularly people who aren't into the Bigfoot. Like my best friend, he's been my best friend since we were 12, 13 years old, and he's an avid hunter. He loves the outdoors, and he does not believe in Bigfoot at all. So anytime I capture something on audio, mainly, I'll send it to him and say, "Hey, what is this?" And about 9 times out of 10, he'll tell me, this is what this is, or this is what's going on here. Okay, cool. 'Cause, he knows his animals. He knows them very, very well. So he keeps me honest, and so that's important. Or even when we're out doing our thing, we make sure that we keep each other honest because, especially when we take someone new and they hear a snap, a branch snap, man, they're on high alert.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we look at it's just sometimes branches snap, animals will step on it. It doesn't mean anything. So that's good that you're skeptic like that. I like that. Um, so what was that? Have you ever had any kind of validation, Morgan?
I mean, not 100%. There have been instances where I'm like, I can't explain that. I think we all have been there so far, but it's still not 100% convincing to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't feel like I had like some kind of earth-shattering experience where we're like, oh my gosh, that for sure is nothing else. We
Yeah.
haven't. I don't think we've had that solid moment.
It's like we're open to that idea. We all want to be proven wrong. We absolutely walk into a place with an open mind, but I don't know. I don't have that solid proof yet to say yes, this is real or not. I mean, I've got my tarot cards here, like we were talking about earlier, and half the time I don't even know if they're actually real, but 8 times out of 10, they are able to help me see what kind of fuckery I'm getting into in that day. so I enjoy them. So if I'm open minded to this, I can be open minded to the idea of things that we don't have tangible evidence of. So
As long as we've been doing it, I can say that there is so there's something to it, but with just all the experiences I've had so far. But as far as the investigations and stuff, I still go into it every time skeptical is all possible, and just try to look at it, every different angle. But like I said, with the teams I've been with and the experiences I've had personally, I'm like, there's something to this. I just don't know what it is yet.
So have you guys captured any evidence that you can explain, and Katie, do you want to answer that one first?
I think that there were one or two things that I would like to have, a second, third look and second opinion on. When we went up to the Old Wilkes jail, there was an incident with Cody where we were doing an interview of the gentleman that works there, and Cody was off in a corner and he managed to catch something out of the corner of his eye, and we still couldn't quite figure out what was going on there. And we also use a very low tech approach at times, and we have these cat toys. They're percussion related, so any kind of vibration or anything will set them off. We went up to, oh goodness, you guys, I get Trans Allegheny in the other place, Trivet Clinic. We went up to the Trivet Clinic, and we were all just sitting around very quietly, taking a little break, but we had the little cat ball sitting over in the corner and just minding our own business, and it would light up at very interesting points in a conversation, almost to indicate that there was some kind of intelligence, I guess, in the room there with us that could contribute to the conversation. Wasn't a whole lot of documentation that was able to be captured there or any kind of supporting evidence, but it was still really interesting, and it kind of kept that door open for me to say that, hey, maybe there is something here. But so far, that's about it.
And what about EVPs? Have you guys ever captured any EVPs?
We have tried relentlessly in getting an
Okay.
EVP, and we just have not had any luck yet. So that is something we break out every investigation though to see what we can get, and some of the investigations we've almost used it an entire night trying to get something, but no, we honestly haven't got one yet.
My first investigation, they sent me into that old folks jail by myself with the the EVP set up, and they're just like, "Here, go have fun by yourself in the dark," which was great. And I was really hoping that we would capture something then, especially considering the ties that building had to various, legends, I guess you can call them. But nothing so far.
Yeah, when I lived in that house I was talking about, um, one night my daughter woke up, my oldest, and she was like, "Hey, Dad, I saw a black shadow go from one corner to the other corner of the room." So I happened to be awake. I was watching TV, and so I woke up my son and my other daughter. I'm like, "Hey, y'all get up! Alyssa saw something in her room." So we're in the living room. We're kind of talking, and she was kind of scared, but not like terrified, because like I said, nothing in that house was ever bad or evil. Just kind of freaky, right? And I told my son, I said, "Hey, go get my recorder from the closet." And it's the recorder I always take with me when I go Bigfooting. I had never done an EVP before session, and I said, "I'm gonna do an EVP session to see if we pick anything up." So we're standing in the living room still talking. He goes to grab my recorder. Well, he goes into the room with my youngest daughter by themselves, and he comes out, and man, he's white as a ghost, right? He's like, "Dad, you got to hear this," and he plays it, and he says, "Is there anybody here with us?" And you hear a voice go, "Yeah," just like that. And so that was like my first like solid piece of evidence that I've ever got in my whole life. But like I said, we were all poked. I was poked in the ribs, tapped on the shoulder. But it was a pretty cool little place to live at. From what I understand, there's still activity in that house.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was pretty good.
Did you ever do like
Um,
research on the house to find out why?
the original owners of that house, they were the only owners of that house. They moved in that house like right after World War II. They wound up dying in their 90s, and that house stayed empty for like 5 or 6 years before we moved in. And so I think it was mainly them that was there. But I also think my dad showed up, you know, shortly after he passed away. He passed away in 2012, and I think he passed. He was around for quite a while, and he was actually around me from like 2017 to 2019. I was kind of going through a bad phase, and I think he was kind of watching over me. I was living in San Antonio, well, outside of San Antonio, and I was upstairs, and my youngest was downstairs. She was living with me, and she was washing clothes. So I was throwing some clothes down to her, like, "Hey, here, wash this for me, right?" And I was thinking about my dad, and the light switch right next to me flicks on, and the light comes on. And I knew it wasn't me. So when I moved back to Houston, I actually moved back in with my mom for a little bit, and I was telling her about this, and I said, I think it was Dad. I think Dad was with me the whole time. And right when I said that, the light switch in the kitchen flicked on, and the light came on, of course. And we and her, we both witnessed it. We both saw it. That was pretty cool. I think that was,
Nice.
I'm saying, yeah, that was good. Yeah. But yeah, what are some of your favorite places that you guys have investigated?
I definitely loved Trans Allegheny, not just for the building and like the kind of paranormal stuff, but I thought one of the things that stood out to me, and I tell it, like everybody that I tell about this, and it's not even paranormal, is the thought that went into the building of that structure. And um, the guy that designed like the windows, and I guess probably most of the building from the inside, where the window panes would be and how they have like the slats that go across them. Looking from the inside, there were metal bars on the outside, but they were lined up with those wooden slats on the inside. So when you're looking from the inside out, you can't see the bars. But of course, when you're on the outside looking, you can. So, he wanted to make sure that the people that were in there didn't feel like they were in a prison or trapped or whatever. But it gave the surrounding people, the surrounding citizens there, they felt safe because there was bars on the windows to keep everybody in. But I just thought that was like the craziest piece of detail to even think about, to try to make those people comfortable in that kind of situation.
What about you, Katie? You have a favorite place?
Oh man, I've only been with 3. They've done 4, so I don't have the insight to the Trans-Allegheny that they do. I really liked the Trivet Clinic, and we did that as a joint investigation. It was really cool to pair up with another team, in my opinion, just to see the different styles and then how we are also very similar as well. Um, there was a point in time where we were down in the basement, and this is funny enough. My mother had actually won a raffle to be able to go with us on this investigation, so I had her in the basement there with us, and just watching her investigate was cool enough on its own. But then watching them investigate, because I was just being a bystander at this point, use their equipment and try to get the feedback that they could, and it was I don't know. I don't know that I ever got all of the conclusion of the evidence from that investigation, at least that particular night, because it was a multi-night event and I didn't get to stay for the whole weekend. But there was a lot of stuff going on that weekend, and it just yet again it kept that door open for me. And I was like, you know what, there's something out there. We just got to figure out the key to completely unlock everything, to be able to see it, or understand it. So it's keeping it alive for me.
Yeah. What about you, Cody? Do you have a favorite place?
Just to tie with that real fast, we did a joint investigation with PD Region Paranormal. They're also here in North Carolina. I pretty much consider them family as well at this point. I've been starting to do a little bit in, different investigations with them as well. So that one, I believe Robert is working on. He's going to try to put all that together so we can get something out. We call that series Lost in the Static. So hopefully we'll have something out for that because we have our Roku channel, which is the Parafam Entertainment channel. So all of our episodes are on there, and they're going to start getting more, different teams in their episodes, and there's even like cooking shows on there. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff on there. So hopefully that'll get put together so we can get a conclusion on that. I would say, all the places we've done, Trans-Allegheny's got to be hands down. I mean, it was just such a incredible building. As soon as we turned into the driveway of that place, he was like, "Oh man, we're gonna have a long night." I think with that place, I saw my first ever anything with my naked eyes, just like a shadow figure, go left or right in a room, like I don't know, what would be like 50 to 75 feet, something like that. But that was pretty much the beginning of. It seems like now every investigation I go on, I see some kind of weird anomaly of some type, and I never have my camera facing the way that I saw it. So there's nothing to correlate, except for the one at Old Wilkes Jail. We did have some kind of weird orb pass through at the same time that I had actually seen something with my own eyes. So, but yeah, Trans-Allegheny, most definitely.
What about you, Morgan? Have you have a favorite place yet?
They all know I loved Trans-Allegheny. I would love to go back and redo it because, like Cody said, that was our first big investigation, and we had no idea what we were doing. I don't know if anybody's ever watched the video, but my favorite saying was, "We're not here to do anything. We're just here to investigate." I kept saying that over and over again. I was scared. I am still scared of any place we go to. But Trans-Allegheny,
She hides it so well.
I really don't. If you're behind the scenes, I don't.
Get your arm grabbed when you're walking down the hallway.
Yes, I will hold on to you for dear life. Kim can vouch for that. But I will say, I was thinking after, about the validation. There was one time we were standing at Trans-Allegheny and we heard like a scream. And it wasn't like a scream that you were like, "Oh, I'm scared," like that. It was a blood screeching scream, like somebody was being murdered. And we still can't, and we can't. That I still can't. I don't know what that was, but it was scary for me.
And that was like the first thing that happened when the investigation started, because it was more like a public one that they put on periodically throughout the year. And what was awesome about ours is almost every floor was full of teams, just full of different people there. But with our group on each floor, it was 4 of us, and then the other group was literally a couple that was together. So we literally had like half of the building of a floor all to ourselves. And we was all the way at the end. I think I'm trying to remember which floor it was. It might have been second or
Did we start-
third.
Yeah, I know we didn't start on the first floor, but I want to
Mm,
third floor because we finished all the way up top, I think.
yeah. So yeah, but we was all the way at the end. And within the first 5 minutes, that scream started. And we're like, oh, this is gonna be good. And we still
What is
couldn't
that
debunk
one?
it.
The Trans-Allegheny. What is that one? What kind of building is it?
It's a mental asylum in West Virginia. I think it was closed down in the 90s, I believe. But it's notorious. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
If you
Yeah, that's one that I hear a lot of. Do you guys have a bucket list? Do you have like a place you want to go visit?
I've got tons written down.
Right. I would love to pack up and go down to Savannah, Georgia. And I think I said that during my interview with this team, was that I just wanted to go down there and spend an entire weekend. I mean, their motto is that the whole city was built on their dead. I mean, almost every single building has some kind of history to it.
Mhm.
And then the walking tours, the regular tours. There's a restaurant that gives you a tour while people are eating in there. um,
Right.
I would love to go there and just stay there and not have to follow the prefabricated haunted trail type things. I would love to explore on my own and see what I couldn't find, just because I find the history of that area to be fantastic. Well, given for what it is, but yeah, that's where I want to go.
What about you, Kim? Do you have a spot you want to go check out?
I don't know. I'm like Morgan. I would like to go to Trans-Allegheny again because I'm same way as her that was our first place and it was a big undertaking and we really didn't know what we were doing. You know, Cody had a good bunch of knowledge on like the tools we had, but we really didn't know how to like work with them effectively. And I just think it would be cool to have something to compare it to again as well. You know, when you go multiple times, you definitely can get different experiences, but we know it a little bit better and how to make things work better.
I just want to go so I can know what y'all are talking about.
Yeah, I'm hoping the next time we go, it will just be us in the building. That's my hope.
Well, Brian said, let's set it up.
Hey, bet.
So, Morgan was talking about, being scared, right? Have you guys ever been like legit scared?
From the unseen
Yeah.
paranormal?
Right. Yeah.
No. Just mainly because I've never had that physical interaction with the unknown. So in my head, I'm able to rationalize it that what are they going to do? Jump out in my face and go boo? it's about how I.
Maybe.
It's about how I take my stance to like spiders and snakes. Yeah, they're a little scary or something, but my foot's 10 times bigger than them, and I can squash them out in like 5 seconds. So when I'm walking through an area, I have the mindset of, I'm the scariest thing in here right now. Not to say that I'm a scary person or that, I could throw a punch to save my life, which I can't. But I until proven otherwise, I don't walk in there and easily get scared. It would be more or less like somebody else trying to be in there to play on those fears that I would be afraid of.
What about you, Cody? You don't seem like a guy who gets shaken up pretty easy, but have you been scared at all?
No, during investigation, there's not really been, a scary factor to it. The whole shadow figure at Trans-Allegheny now it did make me stop my tracks, and I was like,
Yeah.
did I really just see that? And then I had to stand there for a good minute and wait just to see if it was my eyes playing tricks on me. But I was like, but nothing to where I'm just like straight up, let's get out of here,
Right. What about you, Kim?
Yeah, I think I'm kind of the same. like I definitely, like Katie said, I rationalize things, and I'm the first person to be like, no, that was the wind, or no, that was the door shutting behind us, or whatever. And the dark itself doesn't, like, I'm not afraid of that, and I actually prefer the dark, like, because once I'm there, I hate when we have to turn our lights on because I can get my eyes adjusted and then I'm like,
Right.
now I can't see. So I like to be able to have that dark. I won't say that I'm like scared, but you have that kind of jump fear where it's like, if something happens and it catches you off guard, that it's like just your body's natural reaction to be like, oh gosh, what was that? But it's not really like an actual fear complex, like Cody said, like turn and run, fight or flight kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. So Morgan, what about you? Do you get scared just because you're scared to be there, or have you been like scared of something?
I love the color black, but I do not like being in a black room.
Right.
I have always been scared of the dark. I do not like the dark because I feel like sometimes my eyes sees things that are not there. Um,
Right.
on the other hand, even though I say I'm skeptic, I feel like I am empath. Like I'm an empath. Like I feel things. Cody has always told us to say out loud what we're feeling in that moment. So I do. And there are times that I feel things that other people aren't feeling, or I have a feeling that other people aren't feeling. Um, if you want me to tell you a story, I can. I guess I can say the the worst time I think I was scared was at the Trivet Clinic. Surprisingly, however, we did stay there overnight in a basement.
Okay.
The first night, it was me, Cody, and all of PD region down there, and we stayed up pretty late. But when they went to bed, I was still wide awake. I waited till the sun came up, and then I went outside and slept in the Jeep. That was the first night. The second night, everybody went to bed a little earlier. I tried to go to bed while they were still awake. I could not go to sleep. I stayed up, and then I was literally, when everybody was asleep, even Cody was asleep, I was so scared I started crying, and I was like shaking him, trying to wake him up, like, please come outside with me and go to the Jeep. And he was so tired. He's like, no, I'm trying to sleep. And I was like, please go with me. And he wouldn't go. So, I mean, he finally did get up, bless him, and go to the Jeep with me. And then he went back in, and I stayed in the Jeep. But
Wow.
I just felt like something was constantly, like somebody was staring at me in a way. And I felt sick on my stomach. And I don't know if it's because the basement was like musty, like it was musty smelling. And I don't know if there was, something down there that was causing me to feel nauseated or what, but I didn't like it.
Okay. So what's the outside like when you were in the Jeep? Is it like a parking lot or a driveway or?
It was a driveway, I think, wasn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like when we've gone Bigfooting, and I've like gotten freaked out. I've thought about going to my truck and sleeping in the truck, but it's creepier in my truck than it is in the tent. So I stay in the tent.
Well,
Not that I've ever got like scared, but
yeah,
different times.
that's why the first night I waited till sunrise so I could see. And then that's the second night. That's why I had him go out there with me. But once I was out there and I fell asleep, I don't even remember him leaving. He went back.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep in that Jeep. We need to have some kind of makeshift bed for that thing. But yeah, out there it's like a house. Now it's more like a nursery that's owned. But then there's a house next door to it, and that's pretty much about it in that general area. So you kind of feel like, you almost feel like you're out there, just with nothing around in a sense. But there has been people that's come forward and said, yeah, I've experienced stuff outside of the house too. So you always had to think about that as well.
Yeah, and see, that's one of the things about sleeping in my truck. It would kind of freak me out, I think, if I woke up and I saw a big face looking in my window or something. So I'd rather be in the tent.
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
talk about that at one point.
Yeah, and certain locations, you can get like this weird vibe. There's like one location where my friend Walter had his encounter, and when we go there, almost every single time we've gone there, man, we've gotten a weird vibe, and it's a kind of a creepy place. So yeah, there's sometimes I guess you can go and you just, like I said, just pick up that that energy, and it's like, okay, there's something here, something's around here. And I also think that in the forest, there's probably a lot more paranormal stuff that goes on than what people think. You know, it, people hear footsteps, they hear voices, or muttering or what have you. They get stuff thrown at them. I think a lot of the stuff is probably paranormal. I'm not saying Bigfoot doesn't throw stuff. I think he does. I think it's been documented that Bigfoot does. But I think there's been a few times where people have gotten like little bitty pebbles bounce off their heads or whatever. And I think that's probably paranormal. But
Yeah,
that's just what I think.
I totally agree on
Yeah.
that. I saw
Yeah.
Brian's comment. He's one of the founders of PD Region. He said
Mhm.
honcho. So when we went to Trevette Clinic, they brought this doll that Pops keeps at his house. Pops is one of their, they call him the Godfather of PD Region, and
Mhm.
he says that there's weird stuff that happens with that doll that they keep in this case, and they've almost swapped where that doll lives multiple times now because of the weird things that happen at their house when they keep it. Um, and now I'm saying I never have run from an investigation and got really scared, but I did have to basically take myself out of an investigation at one point because I got to a point where I was like, I want to take this thing out of the box. I'm going to take it out of the box because I'm trying to communicate with Honcho through the spirit box. And literally within 5-10 minutes after that interaction, I got like sick to my stomach. I had to sit down. I was just so drained of energy that I had to go outside. And after 30 minutes, it lifted. But that's the first time that's ever happened too on
Well,
any
to
of our
piggyback off of
investigations.
that answer I gave you earlier about the cat ball and us all sitting around in a room, in about 10 minutes while Cody had went outside is when that cat ball incident happened. We were in the room across the hallway. I was just sitting in this chair, just minding my own business. We were kind of taking a little bit of a break while Cody collected himself. Um, and that's when we started to get the feedback from a cat toy of all things. That's why I love that thing. It's so simplistic, but it seems to produce the best results, in my opinion, because we can run around it in circles and not set it off. And I mean, I'm not a small person. I have some weight to me. So if I take a step on the floor, it's going to make some kind of, vibration to it. And if I'm sitting here running around and it's not going off, but it's going off whenever we're just sitting there, there's something to be looked at there. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So I went to Haunted Hill House. It's in Mineral Wells, Texas. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that one. I went there, and the guy, he had this little penguin. It was a little figurine about this big, but on the top of his head had these like this little. They look like fiber optics, little lights, little hairs. And we set it in the middle of the room on top of a chair, and it was like with the little boy that lived there. It was his room, and we're just sitting there, we're just watching it, talking to ourselves, and that little thing would just go off because it would play music, but you had to like touch the little hairs, right, to make it go off. So that was pretty cool that it was going off by itself. I actually got it recorded when it was going off, and he also built his own little box. I don't even know what you guys call it. It's you talk and words come out. You ask your questions or what have you. He was showing me all the little bells and whistles, and he's like, "I'm fixing to go upstairs and do a session right now." And I said, "Well, can I come up?" Excuse me. And a voice comes through the box, "Come up." You know. So he goes, "Yeah, come on up." They said, "Come up." So that was pretty cool. Yeah,
Mm.
I like that. Yeah, yeah. We had um, it was a good night there. It wasn't anything crazy or scary there either, but it was just a lot of little stuff like that happened. But I will still take my old house. Over anything. That was a fun place. Um, we had one night I woke up like I don't know 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and I saw a figure standing next to the bed and it scared the hell out of me. I actually threw a kick at it, you know. Uh, but it wasn't trying to scare me. I don't think. I woke up. There was a black figure, and it was actually a woman. You could tell it was like a woman's figure with a dress. And I think it was Mrs. Coleman, and I kicked at her. But yeah, one time I was taking a shower, and I felt someone's finger like go down my spine like that.
Mm.
So yeah, that was a fun place, man. So what kind of tools and equipment do you guys use? And Morgan, if you want to go first.
Oh gosh, I'm the wrong person to ask that.
Cody.
I'll say
That's Cody.
Cody is the go-to person on that. Now, I will say, I have resorted
He's
to
really good with the
being
camera.
Yeah, the cameraman.
Yeah.
Okay.
I enjoy
Same.
doing that. I love doing B-roll. I love doing it. So I think from now on, further investigations, I will be more behind the camera than I will be in front of it. So, but Cody, I'll let Cody take over on that question.
A little bit of a show and tell. So we have the Sony. I'm trying to remember what it's called now. It's one of the newer, I guess, versions of like the FDRs and stuff. But they shoot 4K. 4K. It's got the night vision on it, so that's pretty much our main go-to as far as like film. So a lot of people have said that our content is the production value is pretty good. So I guess I will take credit for that.
As you should.
As far as equipment goes, we're still adding to the arsenal. I've actually got a prism on the way. The yes no. It's basically like a yes no REM pod top device, and it's kind of like a motion sensor as well at the same time. So we've got that on the way, but we've got our recorders. We've got some custom made equipment from Moonface Paranormal. I think he's kind of discontinued that since they're trying to actively do more investigations. We've got the mail meter. I mean, we got about just everything that there is out
Is
there.
the drone still kicking too, or did that?
Yep.
finally-
Drone still.
Okay.
We got a drone for B-roll footage, and I don't know if we'll ever use that for like an investigation value, but I mean,
It was
you never
B-roll
know.
stuff, I think, is what we did. When we went back to the church, but Cody ran it into a tree or something. I don't know. Or power lines or something.
Yeah, we got it replaced, so we're good on that.
Yeah, my friend Walter bought a drone, to do the Bigfoot stuff because there's some places you just can't get to; it's too thick. So he got the drone so that he could, fly it high above the treetops. Well, he lives out by a lake, and he was flying over the lake, and he flew it too far and lost signal, and it crashed into the lake.
Oh God!
Yeah. So he went out there on his kayak to try to find it, but he had no idea where it was at. He was hoping he could see it floating, but I think that sucker sank.
Ooh.
Not to discredit all of our awesome equipment that Cody has gotten for us, I think the most valuable one that we have, though, is just a plain old simple GoPro. Because we went to the old Wilkes jail, and we had that gentleman there with us, and part of us being able to investigate there is that he had to be there during the night with us, and to show how thorough we are on things, we set him up in a room and then put the GoPro on him. And whenever we started filming, they literally had me walk into this place and just yell so that we could sync up all the cameras together and be able to match up what we were seeing footage-wise with what he may have been doing in this room inside the building. So if we heard a thump or a crack or something, was it him adjusting his foot, or did he drop something, that kind of thing. We're very thorough, and that little tiny GoPro is all it took.
Yeah. I love my GoPro. It works great. I can put it on me and walk around, and not a lot of hands-on with that. Just turn it on and off. It's pretty simple. And what about yourself? Do you listen to your body? And Kim, you've been quiet. You can answer that one. Do you listen to your body, what your body's telling you?
Yeah, definitely. I think, like Morgan said earlier, she's really in tune with that stuff, and she's much more open, I guess. And maybe more so for myself, like, because I kind of try to explain it away, that I'm like, nah, that's something else or like, it just got hot in here. It's not just me. And I'm not as prompt to say, like, hey guys, I'm feeling like I'm 100 degrees hot in here. Like, what's the deal? And see if anybody else feels the same way. I kind of analyze it first to myself before I actually am willing to like put it out there and see if it's really that. So I've tried to work on that a little bit, but I definitely do trust what I feel, but I don't know if I verbalize it as well as maybe I should.
Yeah. Do you guys do anything for like protection before you go into a place and even when you leave?
That's where I come into play. I make little protection jars, and I gave some to Miss Morgan over here, and I'm not sure if she did it, but I ended up carrying it in my special woman pocket around with me just in case. And then I do have the means to cleanse if needed afterwards if anybody ever felt like it. But going off of what Kim was saying about listening to our bodies, we also all walk around with watches on, and whenever Kim starts to say, hey, I don't feel the best, we'll all look down and be like, okay, well, is there any kind of tactile thing that we can say this is what's happening to us? And there was one particular night with the Wilkes jail where we all started to feel a little funny, and we all looked down at our watches, and all of a sudden our heart rates were going through the roof, and we were just sitting still. So listening to your body is great, but then it's also wonderful to have something as simple as a little watch on your arm to be able to give you that visual clue that, hey, yeah, there's something else going on here. What's this about?
Yeah. I think that's very underrated. Listening to your body and paying attention to your body. At least that's what I think. I try to listen to my body no matter where I'm at. And I try to rely on my intuition. As much as I can. I think that your intuition isn't going to lie to you.
See, that's why having 3 females on the team is fantastic, because our women's intuition is,
Yeah, I'm sure Cody loves that. Yeah. Getting bossed around all night long.
We leave that up to Morgan. She's pretty good at it.
Yeah.
She takes care of them for us.
So you do all the heavy lifting, Cody?
Just
Yeah,
making care of everything.
bring all that equipment, and I'm like, all right, we gotta get all this set up. So I'm like, yeah, I'll carry everything in there, and
It all has wheels.
yeah, then we got to get all this set up. But I try to do that now too, as far as like listening to my body, because when I started, I was very. They basically call me Inspector Cody. I don't know how we got to that name, but basically it's like Inspector Gadget, because I bring all of the tools and I'll just break them out and we'll start using them. But as time has went on, like even with this last investigation, I went with PD Region to in Hamlet, and we investigated 2 buildings there, and that will be another Lost in the Static episode after our next episode, which was a house call. But with that one, we really tried to kind of lay off the equipment a little bit and really try to hone in as far as like our bodies and what we're hearing. And so I've been trying to get better at that as well, because I think it's important.
I think some of our camera stuff too, like the kind of behind the scenes stuff that we don't necessarily know is going to be important, like specifically from Wilkes jail. I don't think we 100% realized that we were all like agitated or whatever we were until we actually watched the film back, and we even just in the moment, like not when Cody was editing it, but like we played it back and we were like, wow, we're kind of at each other's throats. Like why were we upset with each other? Nothing provoked that for us anyways.
No.
And we're a pretty chill team that like, we don't really argue. We don't, and we were all just kind of like, oh, what are we doing? Why aren't we moving forward? What are we doing? And looking at that back, we were
It
kind of
happened
like,
right off the
whoa.
bat too. Like,
Yeah.
like we were setting up, and Cody and I were standing in the middle of the room, and Morgan and Kim were on the edges, and it got really hot out of nowhere. And it's temperature wise, it was like what, middle of the summer, so it was already hot to begin with. This was like an exceptional type of heat to it, and we hadn't picked up yet to look at our watches. I had to walk outside, and that was the first time I've ever had to do that. I don't think I've really had to do it since then, but I had to walk outside. I was like, you guys, I just need to reset myself real quick. I'll be right back.
Well, and mine and Cody and Morgan's was like, you were inside, Katie, and we were out at the Jeep, like figuring out when we were going to go live and all that. And we like, I know myself more so probably than anything, but I was like agitated for whatever reason. And I remember Morgan saying like, I'm mad at Cody, but I don't know why. Like, I'm not sure what I'm mad about. And we were all just kind of like, we're pissed off, but we don't know what for.
Yeah, that's happened a couple of times to me when I was at the other house. Yeah, I just get mad for no reason or feel agitated or aggravated. I think that does happen. Do you guys do private residences, or are you open to that?
Yeah, we literally just started doing that. We went this past October to a house, and I'm actually still working on that episode. And it's always funny the places we go to. We're like, we feel like we didn't really have that much happen, but then as soon as we start going back through footage and stuff, we pick up things that we're like, what in the world? So, but we have started that. I don't know how much of it we will do each year. Maybe we'll try to do at least one a year till we can maybe start getting more active in it or doing more.
Well,
But they're nice.
it takes a lot to get them set
Yeah.
up to begin with, though, because you got to do a lot of, you know, verifying the stuff is real. I mean, we've had this, many people send us in things, and we got to figure out which one's the best way to go forward. You know, who needs our help the most? Who do we think that we can actually help? And there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah,
too,
we don't
so.
just. They're not just like, I would love for y'all to come and investigate our house, and we're like, oh yeah, all right, we're packing up now, we're heading there. No, we take like, I would say months in advance before we even head out there, because we get all the information. Like, what do you live nearby? Like, are you near a cemetery? Are you near like a water source? How many years is this going on? Who lives at your residence? And we go through the whole 9 yards before we go
You
out
do an
there.
interview too.
Yeah, I knew some people who had who called a paranormal team out to their house to come check out. They were hearing stuff in the attic, and they had raccoons. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
I think
Do you have any raccoons?
it's really hard too, because like even at Trans Allegheny when we went, because there was other public groups there, it's so hard to have things be like exclusive and really to knock things out. And like going to a person's house, we have no baseline, and not that you do when you go to an actual like facility or anything either, but at a house you truly have no baseline, and people are like, oh no, we hear that all the time, like that's just this, or they're like, oh my gosh, no, that's something, I don't know, and you're like, is it really, or have you been hearing it the whole time you've lived here, and it's like the fan chirping or something, that
Right.
you just, it's really hard to have that exclusive time. And even with other groups there, like Cody said, we were at Trans Allegheny and we were 4 people on one end of a building, but we had to really focus on what we were doing and realizing that some of that stuff could have been people upstairs, or it's just really hard to debunk stuff when you don't have all the facts right there, because people are interrupting what you're doing.
Yeah, and I totally get that too, because there have been times when I've gone out and I've known other Bigfoot teams are in the area, and for the most part, everybody here knows each other, so we're like, hey, where are you guys going to be at?
Yeah.
We're going to be over here. Don't be, I mean, we say it nicely, but don't be,
Yeah.
coming over here and doing tree knocks or whatever. So I'm gonna be recording. Oh shit, I got a Bigfoot.
That was totally our experience at Trans Allegheny, because
Yeah.
I said we were like whistling back and forth, and then I was like, y'all, we gotta quit, like we're making the other team think that like it's something, and they we think it's something, but really turns out, you'll have to go watch our episode, but like there's a little twist to that. But I really did say at that point, I was like, we're messing with somebody else now, like that's not cool, we're making them think that things are going on. But go definitely check out our video for that one and see what the ending has in store for it, because that's pretty cool a little bit.
Yeah, where can people go find your videos and stuff like that?
Facebook, we've got a TikTok, we have I don't even know, we have Twitter, we've got Facebook, we've got the Roku channel. I don't know, Cody, you name all the rest of them.
I mean, yeah, we have a lot of stuff. We might not use it religiously on each one of them. We do plan on trying to up our TikTok here, our TikTok game this year, I guess. I plan on doing some lives with PD Region, I think, because they've got enough viewers to do it now too. But YouTube is probably the best place right now. With us doing the transition to Roku, I think at this point, our future episodes after this house episode is all going to be on that channel. So the easiest way to see us would probably be the Roku channel, Parafam Entertainment. It's available for everyone at this point. But other than that, I mean, YouTube will probably have like our behind the scenes stuff on there. We'll probably start uploading the stuff that we had on our Patreon previously and putting it on there. And then our main updates to everyone, we usually just throw on Facebook. So
Cool. And what's coming up for you guys? Any locations you guys head into next?
we've kind of I'd say we took like a 2 or 3 month break, especially with me working on this current video. But I would say the next one, I believe I'll be going to Virginia with PD Region over to Cabin on 360, which I'd never even heard of this place, but apparently it's kind of known in the paranormal field. Apparently there's a murder on the property, and that whole, there's like 2 houses, and then there's some land, quite a bit of land that ties in with that. And it was actually part of I don't know which battlefield or battle it was, but it's part of the Civil War. So that'll be a good one. We do plan on hopefully going to Casamont Rouge next year. It's more of like an outside location with an interesting story with it. So hopefully we'll get to do that next year. But other than that, most of our schedule is open this year. So I've kind of gotten with them this past week and been like, all right, where do we want to go? Because I think we need to hit something up this year.
Oh yeah. But we're also in the process of looking at bringing other people onto our team as well. So that also adds a little bit onto it. You know, you don't want to take a new person to something that's going to be completely in depth and then scare them off. But then at the same time, you want to make it worth your while. So there's a lot of research. I spent several hours the other night trying to figure out where I wanted to go, just in North Carolina alone. But then there comes down the logistics. Like, I would love to go check out the Brown Mountain Lights, but how do you investigate that as a team? You know, that would be
Right.
more like a solo thing, maybe 2 people. Much more than that. I
Katie,
mean,
we've got that on our list, so don't downplay it. We're gonna do it one day.
all right. I mean, let's go. I'm excited for it. I know my father would be excited for that one too.
Yeah,
To watch
I
it.
think you would.
would.
You guys have any interest in doing Paracons, or have you done any?
No, we really haven't. A lot of those are usually out of the state for us, so the time and effort to do it, I guess, is kind of out of our realm right now. Me and Morgan and PD Region, we actually went to Encounter Quest this year, and basically PD had a table set up over there, and that'd have been a great place for you, Joe, because they're all about Bigfoot and UFOs, and I mean there were some interesting speakers and tables there, but we did get to go up on stage over there and kind of give our spiel, you know, about the paranormal and kind of what we do. So it was a fun little day.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I don't know if I could do like a Bigfoot conference. I have been, but I never really stuck around because they're always in places that are like Bigfoot hotspots. So like I can't stay. I gotta go out in the woods and check it out. You know, I'm like, dude, I'm here. You know, I'm like, I don't want to stay inside all day. You know, but yeah, man. We're running up on the hour here. You guys want to give out any contact information, or your Facebook page or TikTok pages?
Yeah, definitely go follow us on our TikTok. I can't even remember how you search people up on there now. I think it's like at First Line Paranormal. Most of our links are pretty much straight up First Line Paranormal. Definitely check out the Roku channel, Parafam Entertainment channel. And then our Facebook.com/First Line Paranormal. Basically, if you search us up on Google, you'll find us because, I mean, we've got a website, www.firstlineparanormal.com, that usually has all of the links that you need for everything because it's linked through a link tree. So that'll be the easiest way.
You know, if y'all want to follow my personal TikTok so I could go live with these guys, I'd be grateful for that. I'm at Habitual Mayhem. It's also my gamer tag if anybody's a gamer and they want to play anything. I'm on every platform there is. All one word, Habitual Mayhem.
Cool. What's your favorite game?
Oh goodness, right now I'm kind of addicted to Overwatch. I've got this group of guys that I play with that make it pretty amazing to play. But if we were to sit here and go through my entire game history, we would be here for a while, and that would be a whole other hour.
That's another show.
Yes, I love my video games.
Hey,
Cool
can
beans.
can I throw out our Cody, our server?
Yeah, if you want.
Do it.
Yeah.
So we have a GTA roleplay server that me and Cody actually owns, and we are trying to get people on, and it's Vera City. Am I saying that right, babe? Vera City community. Vera City.
I'm gonna write it in the chat.
Check that out. Yeah, why don't you write it in the chat, babe?
And I keep meaning to ask you because you've already mentioned them a couple times. PD Paranormal. I think I had those guys on my show. I'm not sure. I know.
So they're here in the chat watching us right
Yeah, I
now.
was gonna say, have you guys been on the show? I've done 149 episodes, so it's hard to remember everyone. But you keep saying
Right.
you said PD quite a few times, and I think they were on the show.
Yeah,
too.
more than likely, I think they were. But if they haven't, definitely reach out to them because they're
Yeah.
a great, amazing group of guys, and
Yeah.
Brian's
they're actually working on their own equipment now too that
Yeah.
they're pushing out.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they're awesome.
Good. Yeah, I love to have them guys back on too, man. They were really cool.
Yeah, we love them. They are great. They're like family, like Cody said.
Good, yeah. Well, cool beans, guys. I really appreciate it. You guys coming on, man. If you guys have anything you want me to share or post for you guys, tag me in it, whatever. Send it to me. I'll share it for you guys. I've got no problem doing that. I've got a Beyond the Woodline fan page. So if you guys want to join that, you can share whatever you want to share on that.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
we thank you. We
We're gonna
appreciate
make
it.
Brian cry.
We love when people reach out to us and let us get on their show. So if you want us on here next time, let us know. Maybe we'll talk more
Yeah,
about
yeah,
some
yeah.
Bigfoot stuff too. Because
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I just
cool
really
beans,
love
guys. You
that.
guys hold on real quick, and I'm gonna tell everybody good night. Oh, Michelle. Michelle, she's such a sweetie. She's one of the best out there. I don't know if you guys know her, but she's so cool. Yeah, you guys hold on real quick, and everybody else in the chat, man, thanks a lot. I've got a show Friday night. It's gonna be a pretty cool show, UFO paranormal stuff with Jill Weaver. So you guys check that out Friday at 7, and we'll see you then, man. And you guys hold on real quick.